Many thanks for joining us on iBrandTV Business Breakfast. And now to our fourth topic of conversation. As part of parting gift to Nigerians, President Muhammadu Buhari approved the implementation of the 2023 new fiscal policy measures as means to earn more revenue and boost economic growth. The recently introduced legislation has been described as capable of worsening the economic woes of the helpless Nigerians who have to contend with dwindling purchasing power. However, the Manufacturers Association of Nigerian Man and the Center for the Promotion of Private Prices have kicked against some provisions of the 2023 fiscal policy measures by the federal government, stating that they are inimical to the growth of the manufacturing sector and the entire business community. To give us more insight into this development, I'm now being joined live virtually by research analyst from Chapel Hill, Denham, Nabila Mohammed. Nabila, good morning. Many thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thank you. Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
So let me start by asking, what is your assessment of this new fiscal policy measure introduced by the federal government?
Okay, so initially there was an introduction of, a roadmap that was meant to last from 2022 to 2024. But all of a sudden we saw them, come up with the fiscal policy measures of 2023, which sort of like is inconsistent with what was initially released in 2022. We saw like the introduction of increased excise duties on alcoholic beverages, the green taxes, the 5% on telecommunications sector. And I feel like it is coming at a time when, some of these industries are already facing a number of challenges that, would need more policies supporting their businesses rather than increasing the cost of them operating. So the fiscal policy measures of 2023 is definitely, having an overall negative outlook so far. And we expect that they would have to review these policies, even though we understand some of the reasons driving, the increase in taxes across these three key sectors, that's the telecommunications sector.
Okay, we're trying to stay still in touch with Nabila Mohammed, who is trying to give us insight and also more development about the new fiscal policy measure by the federal government. A lot of people have been complaining about this policy coming in at this point in time. Nabila, are you still with us there?
Yes, I am. Please.
Okay, go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, okay. So I feel that the introduction of this policy is sort of a mixed bag. And the reason I say this is because it is more or less like a form of revenue generation for the government, but then it is not, improving the economic activities and, supporting local manufacturers to really do businesses. The impact we would later on see should this become fully implemented. As we know, the FPM 2023 has policies that would have already taken effect on the 1st of May. And of course, the transportation leg of it with the ban, with the increase of 2% taxes on 2,000 cc vehicles that would start on June 1st. Even though we see that it is a source of revenue generation for the government, it is not, helping the local producers and manufacturers. We would likely see demand, reduce because of, high cost of operation for businesses, which would also translate to them increasing their prices, and consumers would, end up reducing the amount of money that they spend on some of these items that have been taxed. So I feel it is double-edged, and if the government really wants to buttress on their revenue generation, they should also look at policies that will not affect the business environment in general.
Okay, two in one question I'm going to ask you now, because we're really running out of time. First, I'm going to ask you, we have inflation still biting hard on Nigerians, despite monetary measures to curtail that stubborn monster. Inflation is still biting hard on Nigerians. eating deep into their pockets. And now we still have government bringing up policies that are not in any way impacting on the purchasing the purchasing power of the masses. With what we have now on ground, do you think that in any way that businesses are going to make more and this policy will make more impact on businesses? And what do you think this will tell on this the performance of this outgoing administration?
Okay, so as you earlier called it, a parting gift, they had 8 years to, sort of get a lot of things right. The country has, moved from 12 trillion in terms of debt to over 46 trillion naira in terms of public debt. And within the span of just last month till date, we have seen certain, policies, including the FPM 2023. We have seen them, come up with securitization of their, ways and means that now become.
Okay, Nabila Mohammed, we're still trying to reconnect with Nabila Mohammed as she gives us our own thoughts on the impact of this fiscal policy on Nigerians and also the overview on the current administration. Nigerians are already complaining about the policies raised by this current administration. So I learned that Nabila is back. Nabila, are you still with us now? Okay, we're trying to reconnect with Nabila as she gives us our own take on these new fiscal policy measures put in place by the outgoing administration by President.
Can you hear me now?
Nabila, I can hear you loud and clear. So go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say in essence is that the country has a number of issues that one single, fiscal policy is not going to be able to cater to everything at once. If you are bringing in a fiscal policy to, increase taxes, you should also introduce a measure that will boost local activities and not dampen the performances of businesses that would affect their, top and bottom lines in general. And in terms of inflation, yes, just like other economies, we've seen Nigeria continue to hike interest rates. But really, the problem is fundamental and not just from hiking rates. That is not.
Okay, the network keep playing a fast one on us. But then again, we'll try to reconnect with Nabila. She gives us our own take on this development. Many Nigerians are asking this question at this point in time. While is this policy coming in at this point in time? This administration has just less than a month to wrap up activities as the economic managers of the country. And then we're looking forward to the incoming administration. So Nabila, let me get your thoughts on the same development.
Okay, just like you said, the outgoing government has less than how many days to the handover to the new administration. So we will exactly. So we would likely see them, listen to the woes of Nigerians as regards the FPM 2023 and other issues that are still plaguing the economy of the country. So we might likely see them review these FPM measures and come up with other policies that would support these local manufacturers in that space, so they are not, entirely affected by the increase in taxes. But it would be more or less like a broad-based sort of improvement. Aside the taxes that will give the government more revenue, they will also have an enabling environment to operate in as a business. And of course, it will tell well not just for Nigerians, but for external, investors to, see that indeed the country is not just, even though it was inconsistent by introducing this FPM policy halfway through the run of the initial one that started 2022 through to 2024, they would be more encouraged to invest into the country, and we might see things take a better turn from the new administration.
Let me ask you this question. So I learned the president-elect said that he's going to continue the legacy. Nabila, can you hear me? Nabila, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
I was not hearing
So
you.
the president-elect who will be inaugurated come May the 29th said is going to continue in the legacy of President Muhammadu Buhari, the outgoing president. Now, going by that statement, do you see this policy being maintained or being sustained when we have the incoming administration take over as the economic managers of the affairs of this country? And if yes, what will become of the manufacturing sector? And don't you think that this will put more hardship on Nigerians who are still trying to come to terms with current macroeconomic fundamentals?
So my thoughts on this is that the incoming administration would most likely, even if they would want to retain the FPM 2023 policies, they would also seek to introduce new policies that would boost enabling environment for these manufacturers, and it would sort of be a double, edged sword at increasing revenue for the government and enabling business environment will also support these businesses and will encourage them to, do more, so that it is not entirely them that will feel the brunt of the introduction of these policies should the new administration decide to continue on this path as set by the Buhari-led administration.
The Nigerian, I would need to wrap up now, but finally, let me ask you this question. The Nigerian operating environment is really, really, really tough, and investors are actually taking their money out of the country and investing in even neighboring country like Ghana. What should be the focus of the incoming administration to boost foreign direct investment into the country, and what fiscal policy measures should we be looking forward that this incoming government will implement to boost up and to show up the productivity of the operating environment?
So to answer your question, I would immediately say tackling the poor state of infrastructure in the country. I mean, when we have the right infrastructure across all sectors, whether it's the agri sector, the telecommunication sector, the transportation sector, we will see economic activities boom, and we would see that it will increase the likelihood of foreign investors coming back into the country. I mean, as at the last data that was released, FDI was little to non-existent. And this is as a result of all the continuous issues that we face as a country. If we tackle infrastructure from every and any angle that it is lacking presently, of course, we would see that it will translate to higher economic activities, and we would see that it will reduce the need for, these investors that are still here to exit the country and go to neighboring countries. I mean, we have the wherewithal, we have the capacity to actually do things better. We just need to focus on the right things, and that would be, improving the state of infrastructure in the country.
Okay, I like the last word you use, focusing on the right things. When you focus on the right things, you get the right result. Nabila Mohammed, research analyst, Chapel Hill Den, and many thanks for being a part of this conversation, even at a very short notice. Many thanks for...
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, still to come on the program, global economic outlooks continue to dim as Ayaz Banga becomes World Bank's new president. What are the orders before him at this time? And this and many more will lead conversation on the second segment interview of the program. You're still watching Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. Just stay with us.